I taught my mom how to knit. Hello and welcome to Knit Cheek. My name is Natalie and I am the cheek behind Knit Cheek, and today I have a very special guest with me, and that is my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Natalie. Thanks for having me here.
She is a new knitter. I taught her how to knit 6 months ago?
About 6 months ago, I would say, yes.
Okay. And she has finished 4 projects already. So today I am going to ask her some questions as a newbie knitter. Then we are going to take a break and show off some of her knits. A little Spanish lesson is in our future. Then we're going to wrap up and ask some reflective questions about her knitting experience. So we are also joined here today by a photo of my grandma, my abuelita. And this is who taught me how to knit. This is my mom's grandma, so it's actually my great grandma. And the fun thing is that my mom didn't teach me to knit. I taught my mom to knit, but it kind of bounced around generations because my great grandmother taught me to knit. Grandma is here in spirit. Okay, introduce yourself.
All right, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited to join the channel, your talk. My name is Lisa, and I am the Cheek's mom. Natalie and I, we used to do quilting. Remember that? And that was a lot of fun.
It's been a long time since we've done that.
And I think I remember it started me wanting to do something when I retired, and I still, it's probably a couple more years before I can do that. And I remember wanting to do the quilting and thinking, yeah, I'm just going to wait. And you said, no, why wait? Let's do it now. And then we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And at that time, we used to quilt for other people. Right? And it brought a lot of joy. Then after a while, we started doing things for ourselves for the different occasions, Christmas, Thanksgiving,
Halloween.
But let me tell you, quilting could get expensive.
Yeah.
And then I think it was about COVID that we stopped. Yes.
Yeah, because we both got into Airbnbs and that.
Yes,
that
and we pivoted to something else, and we stopped. And then Natalie, started her channel, and I started watching, and it was so much fun. I think it was about the episode where you did about organization, which was really cool. And I said, hey, Natalie, let's go to Joann's. And at the time, Joann was closing, remember?
Yeah.
Yes. So I didn't want to commit to the craft, so I wanted to buy like the cheapest yarn, just a small project. But then looking at the patterns and all of that, we went with one that was for beginners and picked, I think I spent like $30 worth of yarn, and you lent me some tools, and the rest is history.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't believe that was only 6 months ago. I feel like you've done a lot for a beginner in 6 months.
Yeah, so, you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like forever. That's for sure.
Okay, so should we get into some questions?
Sure.
First impression questions as a newbie knitter. Question number 1, what did you think knitting would be like before you started?
Yeah, so before I started, Grandma would just produce anything I wanted. So I really didn't think too much of it. In my mind, I just thought about knitting this long scarf, knit and purl, and you would help me with the cast on and cast off. So I thought it would be a no-brainer, enjoyable, calm and relaxing craft. Nothing that it needed technique or anything like that. And I was, far from that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So you're surprised by how technical it can get.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was surprised about that, especially the math behind it. It was just a lot of math, a lot of counting, counting the rows, counting the stitches, the gauging. That's something that I still is a puzzle to me because it's all about the ratios, and it's so important, right? Because it helps you find a good fit and a good size for you, but it's not easy. It's not easy getting that right gauge.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the patterns. They're all different designers. And sometimes I have a hard time reading patterns. They're like algorithms, really, that you have to follow step by step. So yes, that was surprising to me.
Yeah. Was it easier or harder than you expected? I think you kind of answered that.
Yes. The easier things that I thought it was going to be super hard was fixing mistakes. It was just like, oh my God, I got to be super careful not to mess up. But as you know, you get distracted, you get into the zone, and you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And at first I was coming to you, it's like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. Can you help me out? And you would just rip it and no problem. And we get back to, knitting. And then now I'm feeling more comfortable making mistakes. Like, I will end up with more stitches or less stitches or doing the wrong, stitch type. And so it's just like, okay, don't panic. I can always undo it. It's just time that you invest and you just do it again.
Yeah.
So that was something that I learned. And the thing that I thought it would be easier, again, I'm going to go back to the gauging, creating that swatch. It's still, especially with the new yarn that we bought. Mm-hmm. That one, where was it? At Pomona, remember?
Pomona Fairplex for the SoCal Fiber Fair, and it was a DK Waits
art
brush Surrey alpaca.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I want to remember that name. But it's just, it looks out of this world. And when you knit with it, you really can't tell the stitches. And when you're looking at it, it's like, oh my God, I don't know how many rows I knit.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to read.
It's hard to read, yes.
I feel like gauging, even for me, can be difficult sometimes. And like when not when I was beginning, but for some projects, I've gone to the yarn store.
Yeah.
And been like, can someone help me double check my gauge, especially with lace?
Yes.
Lace can be really hard to read. So you're not alone. A lot of knitters struggle with gauge, and there's like, people will say gauge lies, and I don't think gauge lies, but it's hard to get an accurate depiction in a gauge if you don't make a big enough swatch, if you're swatching on like smaller needles and you're going to knit with, I told you about gauging in the round, which I hate.
My God. I was just like, what is this? It looked like nothing else I've seen. And what a waste of yarn, too.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh no, we've only bought 4 SKUs of this expensive yarn. I am not going to waste it on the round. So I did find a recording where they calculate how much yarn you will use on that row. Mm-hmm. And so you just... use that piece, and then you stitch, and then it leaves a little bit, so that you're always the key that gauging on the round is that you're knitting all the time.
Yeah.
And you're not turning it around and purling.
You're not purling.
Right. And it just took me a while in watching a couple of recordings to figure out the purpose of gauging in the round alone. So I spent all day doing that yesterday.
Yeah. I have one more question for you. What was the best advice I ever gave you when it came to knitting?
You gave me plenty, but did I listen to you? No. And I was just like, oh my God, Natalie did tell me, don't do it. But I did it anyways. And I believe one of them was lacing.
Lace, yeah.
Yeah, the lace technique. And that is one of my favorite techniques, not to knit, but to look at, to have. It's just beautiful, because it just gives it that pattern where it's not just something solid. It's just something with style, and I love it. But it's super hard. It's definitely a learning curve.
I told her.
But you did find me a pattern where you mess up. And that's the thing. I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, am I going to mess up? What am I going to do? That we could just rip it and go back to that knitting row, which made it easy.
Yeah, it was a pattern with a relief row. So if you had to frog, it was easy to frog to a knit row and not have to frog back on a lace row. How do you feel about frogging? What are your thoughts on frogging?
Frogging?
Ripping back.
I have to be honest here, and I have to tell you that when I do frogging, I do one at a time. I don't feel like ripping.
One stitch at a time?
Yes. I just don't have that confidence yet. I think I'm going to get there, and I've seen plenty of videos, and you've told me, there's a lot of ways to do it, right? Mm-hmm. You can do it with a smaller needle, right? Or different methods, but I just don't feel comfortable yet. I just do it one at a time. I take my time, and it's worked for me just fine.
Have you heard of lifelines? I think the first pattern that you did,
that you can
have talked about. A lifeline is when, say, you're getting to a spot in the pattern and you want to keep knitting and you're the next part you're afraid that you may make a mistake, you can sew in a piece of like scrap yarn.
Okay.
And then that way, if you need to rip back, you can just rip it and the whole row will be on a piece of yarn already.
Oh,
That's called a light
okay,
line.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, you can do it with that plastic
tubing. You probably could.
Yeah,
you could do it with the plastic tubing.
I just haven't got to that point yet.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm just doing one at a time.
I've frogged something for you before.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Plenty of times. Plenty
and
of
then
times.
picked it up for you.
Especially on that lace sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a lot of frogging on that one.
We did.
And I didn't watch. I was just like, just do it. That only took me 5-6 hours, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's good practice.
Yeah, it is. So. It is. So that's one of them. The other one was to take notes, to count and take notes. And that has been a lifesaver. I feel more confident now where I count and I'm actually having the right stitches that I'm supposed to have and taking notes where I don't forget which row I'm, on. So that's been very helpful.
Some of the funniest text messages I've gotten from you are just like, I have 253 stitches and I'm supposed to have 263 stitches.
What do I do? Oh my gosh. Yes. It's been great having you teaching me and helping me. As much as I watch the recordings and, read the pattern, I still have to join that community at the local knitting shop. I think that's going to also be a life-changing thing.
Really helpful.
Yeah, not only that, but it's just like that social aspect. It really makes a difference. Yeah, and the confidence and, in progressing on your knitting. That's for sure.
Okay, let's show off your knits. Which one do you want to do first? The first one.
Okay, the first one. This is my first project. It's the Melamood sweater, a Wrangler sweater.
Raglan.
Wrangler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raglan.
Yes. And it's by, let's see, I have my little note here. I'm going to cheat sheet. Yes. Julia Pirro.
Here we go.
Yes. So this is the one where I bought the yarn at Joann's.
Rest in peace.
The recipes?
Rest in peace.
Joann's. Rest in peace. Yes. It was like $30 I spent on the yarn. I get a lot of compliments on this piece, but I have to tell you, the first time I wore it to work, I was so proud. It's like, wearing my, my first creation. And I was getting compliments left and right. Oh my God, I can't believe you did this and everything. And then some lady looks at me and says, well, what type of stitch is this? I'm thinking, oh my God, don't you know the stitch? This is like, the most simpler stitches. And I look down and it's like, Pearl, I have been wearing the sweater inside out the whole time, Natalie, by getting those compliments.
You wore it inside out?
Yes, I don't know how that happened. And it's still, you know what? It's a testament on your teaching here because it tells you that it's perfect inside out as well.
Yeah. It's reversible. It's fully reversible.
Yes.
So when you decided to knit your first pattern, I suggested that you knit something that had a corresponding YouTube video tutorial.
Yes.
Yes.
Life-saving event.
Yeah.
Not all patterns come with a tutorial.
No, definitely
I
not.
watched that recording 50 times, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Watch it for 30 seconds, rewind, watch it again, rewind. And it really made a difference between texting you, watching the recording. The pattern, I was just like, that pattern was like 10 pages. And I thought, oh my God, why would she write a pattern that just has so many pages? Well, she had where you can record the rows, remember, at every stitch.
Yeah.
And I would mark every stitch and every row. And honestly, that really helped to see where I was. I never got lost in the pattern. Yes, it was just a wonderful experience. And then she had a option of you can do the I-cord or you can do la pretina here, the ribbing. And I, decided to do the I-cord for the sleeve instead of the ribbing and the ribbing at the bottom of the body And it turned out really, really nice. Yes.
I also have a video about if you want to knit your first sweater. And in that video description, I have several sweater patterns that have corresponding YouTube videos. So if you're looking to knit your first sweater, that's a good resource.
Yep. It's DK worsted weight.
Okay. So like DK worsted.
Is that the two different ones?
No, there's fingering, sport, DK, worsted, Aran, bulky, super bulky.
Okay.
But sometimes a yarn will be like, oh, DK worsted, like medium rare.
In between.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like an extra, like,
yes.
You can kind of use it either way depending on gauge, and like it's more versatile. So
yeah, it was a nice yarn. I remember when we went to Joann's, I was like a kid in the candy store because I loved all the colors. And you're like, no, you can't use that weight.
Right,
That's not the right weight. And I'm thinking, okay. So and I'm glad we chose this green because it's really a neutral color that goes well with a lot of other colors. So,
that's something I didn't know as a newbie, and like I didn't realize the weights mattered so much. So when I was looking for yarn for a sweater, I just picked the yarn that I liked, and it was not the right weight, and that made the sweater significantly larger than it was supposed to be, and I had no idea. So yeah, you kind of just, those are things that you have to know.
I wouldn't have known. I would have just picked the one that I think I love. I fell in love with the color lavender, and it was not the right weight. I think it was fingering, and that would have taken me forever and ever. So I'm glad that I went with the Esprit here. Yeah, for my first one. So the next one is the Avenue T by Tori Yu, and it's a fingering weight. We both bought the same yarn.
Yes,
the Pearl Soho.
Yes, in the same color.
In the same color, that's right. Yes. You know, I love this tee. I get a lot of compliments, and it's such a light blue that it goes really well with black. And I have a lot of jewelry that are blue, so I just love it. The only thing that I would say is that for me, I like sweaters that are longer, but this one called to be short, and it goes well because it's wider, and so it's not tight. You know, it's not like a crop top that is tight. And I wear it with high-waisted pants. And so I'm not showing no belly, no skin. And it's beautiful. I really love this ribbing right here. And I was really surprised and impressed about myself, even though you showed me how to do it. But just to do this line was, and it turned out really beautiful.
Yeah, it looks great. So you know that you can go back and add length to this.
You know, I was going to ask you about that because I have some.
You have extra yarn.
Yeah.
And I also think I have more too.
Yes.
So if we wanted to in the future, we can.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And my thought process was, well, the blue may not match because now I washed this a bunch of times.
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like you're going to see too much because it's towards the end, and it'll be probably part of the ribbing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If we ripped back and just added ribbing, I feel like it would be okay, because then if there was a slightly different color.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that noticeable.
Yeah, if you have stockinette and there's like a line, then that is, Are you washing this in a washing machine or hand wash?
No, okay. I'm hand washing it, and I think I hand wash it maybe a couple times.
Yeah. So this is Pearl Soho Santalina.
Yes, that's what it is.
The color Ice Pond. I don't know.
Yes, oh my God. Yes, and I have it on my notes. Santalina Ice Pond is 70% organic cotton and 20% rayon bamboo. Yeah,
it's 100% plant-based. I really like this yarn. I have made two things with this yarn, the rib lace raglan and the dappled lace raglan, both by James and Watts. I did the one in Ice Pond and Red Smoke. So I feel like we've used this yarn quite a bit. Did we pick this up at the Pearl Soho sample sale?
No, we did not.
No, we ordered this online. Okay.
The next one we did.
Yeah, okay. Yes. So project number 3.
Project number 3 is the Grass DK by Kriya Bia. designs.
The Crayabea. Her name is Rebecca Clow. She's a
Okay.
designer. She also has a YouTube channel.
And this one is the lace.
You want me to hold it?
It's perfect, if I may say so myself.
This is the lace pattern that you had to knit
Yes.
for her third project, an all-over lace with set-in sleeves.
Oh my God, yes.
The set-in
You know,
sleeves, yeah.
and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about is the German short rows that made the sleeves beautifully. I mean, it made quite a difference on the shape, and it was just beautiful. And I was in awe to learn that technique. Yes, and this is the one where, remember, what happened was when I was knitting in the round, where it connected, or where it was the beginning of the round, I should say, it was holy. And so I asked you if you can frog a bunch of rows, and then I started again, and then as you can see, it's perfect. It had a chart where you had to follow, but then it had row instructions. And so I didn't know how to pair them until I talked to you, kind of decipher the pattern. And then once I got going, I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So, and what you talked about before is the relief lines. That really made a difference because I always knew
rows.
The relief rows, exactly.
Just a knit row.
Yeah, because I knew that if I mess up, it's okay. You know, I can just go back. I mean, I had to do a lot, but that's okay. You know, at least it's not like a panic and I could never go back. I mean, back to the beginning, you know, that was never an option. So yeah, I would have to say, again, I like the sweaters to be longer. I have a lot of these gains left.
So we're going to be adding length to some things.
I might.
Yeah.
I don't know. The challenge that I have is that I want to keep knitting, you know, new things. And so it's just the time. I don't know. I may go back or I may not.
So when I looked at this pattern, because I remember you were interested in doing a lace pattern and you were showing me things, you had wanted to do the rib lace raglan.
Yes,
and
I still do.
Yeah. Even though that looks like it might be beginner friendly, there is no relief row in that. There is no just knit row. The entire thing is lace.
Yeah.
And so I was worried if you did that, if you make a mistake, it can be really hard. Even I made a few mistakes in that.
Yeah.
And I remember it being very difficult to like rip back or even like drop the stitch and redo it. It was a little bit of trial and error for me. So I remember looking at this pattern and thinking and looking at it, reading through it a little bit and being like, oh, I think this one is beginner. And also Rebecca Clow did say that it was a beginner friendly. I don't know if she specifically said it was beginner friendly like as a first lace pattern. I don't know, but it did say beginner friendly. So I was shocked when we got to the sleeves because I do not think a set-in sleeve is beginner friendly. Yeah. And I remember explaining to you what you had to do to make that, and your poor face.
Well, it did not make sense to me. It's like you're going to knit this back and forth and not in the round. So yeah, it was hard to comprehend, and you taught me how to do it. I watched recordings on how to do it, and so it really made a difference. I can tell how it structures a sleeve, and it's not a flat sleeve. It has structure.
So
to
do you like the fit of the sleeve?
I do.
Yeah, it does make for a really nice fitting garment, but definitely not beginner friendly.
I don't think so.
But you took the challenge well. So
yes, like I mentioned before, I love the lace style, so I want to challenge myself to another lace project. But maybe I'll take it. The good thing is that, I mean, when I think lace, I think summertime. And so I still have some time to do winter, items that are not as hard as the lace style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Project number 4.
Project number 4 is the Philia cardigan by Irene Lynn.
Yeah.
Yes. And I just fell in love with this pattern. I just thought, oh my God, my first cardigan, and I want to make it a staple. It's a statement cardigan, to be honest. It's just a beautiful pattern. I really love the pattern, the structure of the cardigan, in such a beautiful color, a denim blue color. I fell in love with the yarn, the merino wool yarn. What is this, worsted?
This, I think, is Aran weight. So this is an Aran weight yarn.
Yes. It was super fast, faster to knit than, say, that lace pattern.
Because of the gauge. You're knitting at a bigger gauge.
Yes. I was just the pattern is so intricate and yet so simple. I didn't struggle with the pattern at all.
Yeah, you did really good on this lace. I don't think you asked me one question about the lace pattern.
Yeah.
Right? I think you had questions about other things like the collar and things, but not the lace.
Well, I did have a question, remember, because I wasn't sure.
The shaping here?
The shaping, because it had the German short row.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if I was adding it correctly. Because the paneling, I think I had to do the paneling. Well, first I did the back, and then the right, and then the left. And I wasn't sure if I was starting it correctly.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that was new to me was the I-cord. The I-cord going down and also going, horizontal like that.
So your edge I-cord and your bind off I-cord.
Yes. Right? Yeah. Yes. So that was new to me. But yes, I mean, I'm loving this cardigan. This is the 4th project, and this is one of my favorite ones.
This was your first experience of seeing how drastically something can change from blocking. Right?
Oh my gosh. Yes. So this pattern, you can do the extended version. And I thought, oh my God, I like long things for me. I don't like crop things. And it was really short, but in the picture, as I was knitting, it looked really short, but in the picture, it looked long, like this. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if they're just showing the extended version, even though it said there, no, that's not the extended version, that they maybe made a mistake or not. But then when you helped me block it, I could see how you can stretch it in both directions, and started looking like the picture on the pattern.
Lace has a really rewarding after effect from blocking. It really makes a difference to open lace up. Yeah, because I remember you were afraid too that it would be too short on your arms because it wasn't very long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now it's really nice.
Yeah.
It looks great. I love it.
And I love the length. I think it's perfect. I like it that it is wide enough so it just flows really pretty.
Yeah. And you have more yarn for this too.
I do.
If we want to add more length to it.
I do. So the pattern called for, on my size, for 925 grams. But again, I think it was a different type of yarn.
Yes,
it wasn't this one.
That she used was brushed cashmere. So it was, because I remember shopping for this, and it would have been hundreds of dollars.
Yes.
And we were shopping, we looked at Pearl Soho. This is definitely a denser yarn. So that means that she's saying she used a certain amount of weight and you were afraid you were going to run out, but her yarn was probably a lot fluffier and lighter.
So in essence, I could have made the extended one if I wanted to. And maybe, but no, I'm glad that we didn't, because this is the perfect fit. This is what I was going for.
Okay.
For
How many do you have left over?
I have one whole skein. This one right here, and a bunch of little ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me read what this. So this is Pearl Soho Plenty, and it's 100% extra fine merino wool in the color blue jeans.
It's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of Pearl Soho today.
Yes.
But that's because we went to, none of this came from the sale though, but.
No.
Yeah.
It was just after the fact, but I really love their colors.
I think you did buy this on sale though.
I believe I bought this from your link.
Oh yeah,
yes.
From my affiliate link. But
I did get a discount.
Yeah, because they have great sales. But yes, I do have a Pearl Soho affiliate link, and I will leave that in the description below. Which one of your projects was the funnest to make?
The funnest to make. I think the funnest to make was this Philia sweater. And I'll tell you why. Because it was my 4th project. By this time, I've gained a lot of knowledge thanks to you and the recordings and my experience with previous projects. So I was feeling really confident. I love the pattern. It went much faster, no mistakes. I was counting, and every time I count the rows, I had the perfect number of stitches.
So satisfying.
Right? I didn't have to undo anything, and it went really fast.
Yeah.
I thought I would finish the sweater, Natalie, in 3 months, and actually finish in 2 months. Now, I don't tie myself, and I should be doing that, but I'm not doing it at this moment. And I knit when I come back from work and the weekends. And so I already know that I can spend maybe an hour every night. Sometimes on the weekend, I'll spend, 2 hours. So I was thinking, okay, that's going to take me about a 3-month sweater, but it was 2 months, and I was really surprised and happy that I was able to complete this item in such short time.
Yeah. So that was your most enjoyable knit.
Yes, it was.
That was what I meant. I think, I don't know, I worded that weird. So
No,
sorry.
that's okay. Yes. No, it was a lot of fun to make. Yes.
Okay, this is a fun question. Which one gave you the most trouble?
The most trouble.
Yeah.
The lace one for sure.
The red lace.
Yes, the red lace one. It was the fingering.
The yarn.
The yarn itself, because it just took forever. It's like, sometimes you have an expectation. You set your goal, okay, I'm going to do 4 rows.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that I do this after work at night, and I was just like getting tired because I would not be able to complete 1 row.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I got to complete 1 row. And then I start messing up. And it's like, oh no, I have to undo it. And I have to be so careful, to undo this, the stitches. And so, so this was definitely the most challenging one. But again, once you finish the project, you see the item, you're wearing it, you're loving it. So it's definitely, enjoyable and satisfying.
Yeah. And this is also Pearl Soho. This is the Sketchbook Cotton. It's 100% cotton, light worsted DK weight. How did you feel about, how was this on your hands? Because some people do struggle knitting with 100% plant-based.
Yeah. My fingers, again, it took a while to finish the rows because there were so many stitches. But, not bad. Not bad. Yeah.
Because I feel like this, to me, seems like it doesn't have as much give.
No, it does not.
The Santolina
yes,
is also 100% plant-based, but I feel like that one actually, I have no problem knitting with that one. This one seems a little bit like there's not much give.
Yeah, struggle, especially when you have to cast new stitches for the sleeve.
Yeah.
That definitely, I could, it was challenging. Yeah, to knit with.
Okay. Should we talk about our next project?
Sure. Why not?
So, future project plans. What's your next project?
Yes, so we went to the Pomona Fair, right?
The SoCal Fiber Fair.
The SoCal Fiber Fair, and I fell in love with this yarn. Do you want to talk about it?
I fell in love with this yarn.
All right, I copy you. I fell in love after you fell in love with this yarn. But the pattern, we saw a pattern together and it's like, oh my God, that pattern is amazing, right?
She had a sample.
Yes, the broom sweater. And
the broom sweater by Andrea Mowry.
Yes, and I was telling you, I wanted something with a high top, right? And that was the perfect look. And I thought, okay, I want to knit that sweater. And this green is just so rich. It's just beautiful. But I never thought to actually inspect the yarn itself. And let me tell you, this yarn is funky.
Yeah, I've never worked with a DK Surrey. What I'm wearing now is a similar thing, but it's much
manageable,
thinner.
Right?
Yeah, this is like double the thickness, but I'm thinking from what you're saying is that it's thick and thin.
It's thick and thin, and I cannot tell the number of stitches I have in the row. Especially, there's no way. I was trying to do a swatch last night, and at night, even with my little lantern that I have,
I could not. Lights?
Yes, yeah. I could not. Yes, I have to talk about, and I don't know if I brought them. Probably not, and I apologize. Oh, no, I did. Look, I really love this. Do you have this? A pair of these lights?
I don't think it's the same brand, but I have a version of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not even with this, I was able to tell the number of stitches on my needles, and that was a problem.
Yeah.
Yes. So I didn't know if it was 2 or it was 1. And I had, for the swatch, I had 23 stitches. And I was like, oh my God, did I lose one? Do I have an extra one? I couldn't tell. And then, so that was one challenge. But then when you're looking at the swatch, at the end, you need to figure out how many stitches for the 4 inches. I could not tell what was a
I can't
stitch
imagine.
or not.
That's going to be a hard one to
Yes.
read the gauge for sure.
Right.
For context, I also bought this yarn, and so we were both going to make the broom sweater by Andrea Mowry as a buddy knit.
Beautiful sweater,
But
yes.
she started swatching for it. I haven't swatched for it yet, and it's going to be my first time knitting with a DK weight, Surrey weight as well. Do
Yeah.
you have the swatch with you?
I do not. I undid it.
Oh, you undid it. Okay.
Yes. I was like, you know what? I'm certainly 90%. You know, I was thinking I'm doing something wrong here, and so I thought, okay, maybe I'll bring it.
Yeah.
And maybe you and I can work on it and see if I'm doing it. What am I doing wrong? I was thinking maybe this needs weaving,
Spinning?
spinning.
No, I think that's just, I mean, this is just the type of yarn
Really?
that.
Okay.
Another thing we can do, though, if you don't like the texture that it's giving, is that you can hold it with something else, but you'd have to find another yarn
That is
kind of
the-
matches it.
yes.
And
No,
then
no.
you're going to change, it's no longer going to be DK,
Yeah.
it'll be probably an Aran weight sweater if you hold it with like a fingering weight.
Oh, I seen that, and it's just gorgeous to have
Yeah.
mohair. I think I use mohair,
Yeah, this is
right?
similar, but this is
Yes.
very, very thick.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, the texture of what I was knitting is beautiful.
it's just hard to read, hard to
It's
see.
just hard to read and hard to see. Yes. That was the challenging part. You know, I was thinking, this sweater is, I want to knock it out of the park because it looks simple, but I never thought that I would. The new struggle is the yarn
Yeah,
itself.
I honestly didn't think about that either when we were looking at it, about how it might be difficult to knit for a newer beginner knitter,
Yeah.
like with a different type of yarn like this.
But do you see that it's so thin? It's like, oh my God, I'm afraid
Yeah.
to break it.
I think there's a core. There's like a silk core. Yeah, there's a silk core, so that will not break. That's strong.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it does look like this has a little bit of thick and thin, but
Yes.
I think when you get a swatch, your overall fabric is going to look really solid, but it is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to count. It's going to be difficult to see what you're doing.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, the math is out the window with this
Yeah.
one. I'm telling you, Natalie. So I thought really, seriously, 2 options. I just try it and maybe go through some frustrations, or I just park it and try something else and
Yeah.
then just put this one aside, which there's nothing wrong with it.
Right. Save it for later and see.
And then come back because the one project that I want to do is the cabling.
Yeah.
So
she's
that's
excited to
yes.
cable.
I'm excited to cable, something that Grandma taught you how to do.
She did. Grandma did teach me how to cable.
And I've seen your end products, and they look beautiful. So I love the texture, like I said, in lace, and I know that I'm gonna love it in cabling. So yeah, I would love to do that. So yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Maybe I can talk to you if you invite me again of my future projects. But yeah.
Okay. You gonna take your light off there?
Once this video airs, there's no way to take it down, right?
Today I am wearing the Sadie top, and this is a pattern by Celine. Her handle on Instagram and YouTube is Woozy, so her designer name is Woozy by Celine on Ravelry. And this is a yarn that I picked up from Wool House, Pasadena. It is a lace weight Surrey, so very similar to what we're doing, but this is a much thinner. It's a very open gauge, and we were searching for yarn for this for you
Yes.
at the SoCal Fiber Fair.
And we ended up with the Surrey.
Yeah, we couldn't find this, but this was relatively easy to knit, and it's easy to, I mean, you can see the stitches. I feel like this would be...
Yes, I can see the
Yeah.
stitches for sure on this one. Yes.
The only thing like that I found difficult about this was I tried to knit a little bit in the movie theaters, and like if you accidentally yarn over or you drop a stitch, it's incredibly hard to hide those mistakes. A lot of times if you yarn over, you can just knit 2 together, on the next row. But with this, because it's so open, it would be really, really noticeable. So I did have to rip back the day that I decided to do that. But other than that, I feel like it's a relatively easy thing to knit. You can't make mistakes. So.
It's a beautiful piece where you can dress it up and dress it down. Just like that. It's just beautiful. That's still on my radar, Natalie. Cabling, this one.
I feel like you would love this too, because it was also really quick. I think it took me, how long did this take me to knit this?
Notes at your fingertips. I love it.
Sadie top. The Sadie top took me 29 hours to knit this. So this was like really fast. I mean, I timed a tee, a tiny little crop top tee that was stockinette, and it took me 35 hours. So this was a really quick knit for a full sleeve. I did crop the body, but it was really, really quick.
Yeah, so it's beautiful. I love it.
That's the Sadie top by Woozy by Celine. So a quick little Spanish lesson, because as you know, you didn't actually say when you introduced yourself where you were from.
Oh, oops. Okay, so I'm from Lima, Peru. I've been here all my life, 41 years now.
Wow.
Yes, I came to the United States at 16. And so, yes, English is my second language, believe it or not. And I speak and write fluently Spanish. Yes.
Yes. So you're going to give us a little Spanish lesson today.
Sure.
This was inspired because you told me the word for ribbing, and I really liked that word. So what was the word for ribbing?
Pretina.
Pretina. You're going to have to let me know how to spell these so I can put the spelling.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So the ribbing that you do here at the end. I remember when you first started knitting, you kept telling me, well, what do I need to do for the ribbon instead of ribbing? Do you remember that? You kept
ribbon.
The ribbon.
Yeah.
Pretina.
Pretina. That's right.
Okay, so that is the word for ribbing. What about the word to knit?
Tejer.
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 Yeah, that's what I have too.
Yeah. And what we say is, you know, you knit like a spider. Tejes como una araña.
Tejer.
Tejes.
Tejes.
Como una araña.
Araña.
Yes.
So you knit like a spider?
Yeah, like if you're knitting a lot, that's what we say, you know, tejes como una araña.
Why have I never heard you say that? Okay, love it. So, tejo.
Tú tejes como una araña.
Te tejes. Yo tejo.
Tejemos.
Tejemos.
Sí.
See, I remember a little bit. Okay, and then for knitting needles.
Knitting needles. Agujas de tejer.
Agujas de tejer.
Now that's the proper name of the needles in Spanish, but Grandma Elda used to say palitos.
Palitos.
Palitos de tejer. Palitos are like sticks.
Okay.
Little sticks.
Little sticks. Palitos.
Palitos de tejer.
Peruvian slang for knitting needles.
Yes.
Okay, what about a stitch?
A stitch. Un punto. Un punto, sí.
Punto. I was actually curious because I looked these up and I was like, I didn't know if they would match what you know as Spanish because, you know, it's not always correct.
Yeah.
So
there's variation.
Yeah.
You did
Punto.
great. Yes, punto.
For yarn, I know this one because I remember Grandma would say it all the time.
Yarn. Lana.
Lana.
Lana. Yes.
Yeah, I remember her always talking about her
And
Lana.
it's funny because if you're from Mexico, and they use the word lana as a slang for money. Yes.
Really? I didn't know
Tienes mucha lana. But we don't. Lana is just yarn for us.
Yeah,
yes.
well, yarn is expensive.
There's some truth to that gist, yes.
Any other words that you can think of for knitting?
The one that I really like is cast off. I don't know why.
Yeah?
But Grandma used to use it all the time, rematar.
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 Yeah, like you're finishing.
Yeah. You're done.
You're done, basically, yes.
So do you use that word in any other context?
No.
No, so it's just a knitting word?
But no. There must be other contexts I just can't think of right now. It's to sell off, like when if a company goes out of business, they sell everything remate.
Remate. So we're going out of business. Everything
We're
must
done.
go. We're
Dishes are done. Yes.
Well, thank you for that Spanish lesson.
Yeah, of
that
course.
was very, that was insightful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you ready for the wrap-up questions?
Reflections?
Yes.
Yes,
reflection.
Let's do it.
What has been the most frustrating or confusing part of learning how to knit?
The frustrating and confusing part, I would say that trying to finish something, I mentioned before, working after, I'm done at work, I want to relax, I want to do something creative, but I'm getting tired, but my goal is to finish a certain number of rows, and I start messing up.
Yeah.
And so I just, I have to have the awareness and just be true to myself, say, if you get tired, just stop. This is supposed to be something that you do for fun.
Yeah.
Because then you mess up and then you have to frog it and then, do it again. So that's been the frustrating time. It's just...
you want to keep knitting.
I want to keep knitting, and I just don't have the time sometimes.
I remember that from quilting. I remember we used to say that because we used to quilt every Sunday. And when, we wanted to just keep going.
Yeah.
And at some point, we'd be like, we're making mistakes.
Yes.
We're getting tired.
Yes.
We need to stop.
Yes.
We can't just quilt indefinitely. I do remember that.
Yeah.
And I seldomly feel that way about knitting now because I feel like knitting is so mindless for me. But there are some times where I'm knitting late at night and I'll be doing something mindless and I'm like, I look down and I'm like, what am I doing? Why did I just do something completely different? And then I'm like, oh, I need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
and then I'm done.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. And for me, I don't think it's just, I'm glad that you said that because it's not just for knitting, it's for anything else. The other thing that frustrates me is that I cannot do two things at the same time. What do you call that? Multitasking.
Yeah.
I am so bad at multitasking.
Yeah.
And that includes listening, talking, breathing, because I cannot knit. Especially, if it's knit and purl, I could probably do that. But if I'm following a pattern and someone's talking and we're trying to do a conversation, I don't do as well.
Right.
Yeah. But it's not frustrating. I just need to stop and be aware that it's okay to take breaks when you're knitting. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The other thing that is challenging, I think, is it took me a while to learn how to thread the yarn in my fingers to get the right tension.
Yeah.
Because I thought about this, Natalie, that we're the machine, right? Like when we are sewing, we have the machine that does the tension. You don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Just to make sure that you have the right feet and the right needle and the right thread, but then everything else the machine does. But in this case, we are the machine. And so it's nice. You can tell when you have the consistent tension. And so it took me a while to learn and to see what's comfortable, how to hold the yarn in my fingers.
Yeah, that's a good one. It is hard to, I just taught another friend to knit. And that was like an aha moment for her. She was knitting and she was like, it's just not, it wasn't comfortable. And then I was like, well, you need to try to kind of hold the yarn in between your fingers to create a tension. And then that was just like, that's so much easier when she put two and two together for that. Yeah,
at first, I don't know if you remember, but I would knit and adjust, knit and adjust, knit and adjust. And that's taking me forever.
Yeah.
Especially with that fingering weight yarn. So now that I know how to lace the yarn between my fingers and I have that tension that I'm comfortable with, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the speed and just the comfort that I have.
Any funny oops moments you want to share that you had?
Aside from wearing my sweater inside out
for
the whole day.
Yeah.
I was knitting and I hadn't realized that the cord had came off the needle.
No.
and the stitches were just floating until I realized, I was like, what's going on? So, and now I am so careful to just tighten it. And sometimes I feel like I'm tightening it too much.
Yeah.
And I may, just damage the needles.
I don't think you can tighten those too much with your hands.
The shagu.
The chagu.
Shagu needles. I love them.
I don't think you can. You're just doing it with your hands. I don't think you could do
it.
Or you're using the grip and then...
I use the grip, that red heart with a little tool. And I just got to make sure because I've learned from that oops moment where the stitches were just floating because they came off that cord. So, yeah.
Is that a heart jump moment when you look down and your stitches
I panicked. Yes, I panicked. Yes.
What's your favorite thing about knitting so far?
My favorite thing, I would say, watching your channel is one of my favorite things. Just being part of a community. I like when you had, I'm going to call it a marathon on doing the tees. And then you had one for the vest. And it's really encouraging because you feel like you're not alone. Yeah. Other people are knitting on the same boat and starting. Not that it's a race, but a knit along. Yes,
yeah.
Marathon.
A marathon.
No. Yes, that was a lot of fun. And encouraging to do something, and that you get ideas. Also, I love how you show the different items because then I'm really bad with colors, and so it just gives me an idea. Okay, that color looks great. That pattern's amazing. So it's nice to learn from other people. This social media platform, we didn't have it when we were quilting.
No, it definitely wasn't as big as it is now.
It wasn't. Yeah. And so the social aspect is when we took a class, remember? Yeah. And we were able to make friends and talk about it. And these new platforms, I even learn from your viewers, and I get ideas from them on what they're doing, what they're working on. And so it's a lot of fun. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite things about knitting. What was your proudest knitting moment?
My proudest knitting moment was to finish my first item. It was just like, oh my God. So what do you call it when at the end and you have to tuck in those yarn pieces?
To weave in your ends.
The weaving of the ends. After I did that for the Mela Mood top, I was just like, oh my God. It's just like a feeling of disbelief that you made this item, with your hands, and it looks so perfect. So that was one of those, my highlights, I guess.
You should be proud.
Yeah, I was proud.
If you could make anything your dream project, what would it be?
You know what
I know what it's going to be.
It's the pink lace top.
The dappled lace raglan by James and Watts.
I love it so much. I mean, do you blame me?
No, it's a beautiful piece.
It's a beautiful piece. It really is. I just love looking at it. Anything in lace, really. But specifically that piece, and I tell you why, because I love the sleeves. The one that I made didn't have sleeves, and I love long sleeves.
And it's nice and open.
It's nice and open where you can wear it in the summertime, even in wintertime if you wanted to wear something thick inside and just layer it. It's such a beautiful piece. So that one is definitely on my queue to make. And of course the cabling.
Yeah.
I want to do a cabling.
A cable project.
A cable project, whether it's a vest or a sweater. But I'm leaning on the vest because it's just be something that I could do maybe quicker.
Yeah.
Than a cardigan.
Then also too, I feel like you could wear it into spring.
Yes.
When it starts to warm up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I do feel bad because I know you really want to make that dappled lace raglan, and you've asked me, and I keep saying not yet. I don't think so. I mean, I
have the yarn.
I made a mistake on that. I made a huge mistake on it. So it was like I think that was my third lace project. And I had somebody on TikTok actually ask me if it was a good beginner lace project, and I said no, it's not. It is a beautiful project, well written, but it's not, I don't think it's a beginner, just because there's a lot of shaping that happens in if it was just a tube, I would say it's fine, but I feel like the top, and then I don't know what I did, but I had messed up the lace pattern when I connected them.
Yeah, I could see that it's easy to, make mistakes, and then undoing it, that would not be good.
Yeah.
Not a good picture, yes. So I am going to be patient for that one. Yes.
Thank you. Because I can already imagine the text messages that I'm going to get while you're knitting that. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out?
Yeah. Definitely keep in mind that this is a craft that's supposed to be enjoyable, right? So you need to set yourself for success. Listen to the experts. If it doesn't say beginners, do not attempt to do it alone. Or period. Don't do it, period. Just start with something that is simple. I started with a sweater, but really I should have started with a cowl or something, a long scarf or something that it was a simple project that you have the resources, that you belong to a community, that you have a friend or a daughter that can help you on your project, that you have those recordings that you can lean on. And, don't get frustrated if you mess up. It's really easy to fix. Again, for me, it was not, I didn't want to commit to the craft, so I didn't go crazy on buying all these expensive yarn. I went with, reasonable pricing yarn. And it's, at the end, if you mess up and you decide, I'm going to do it again, you can. Or if you want to jump to a different craft, then you can. So just set yourself for success for something that is manageable and small project. And again, have fun with it. Yeah.
Don't you think it's so impressive that Grandma was able to do this with no YouTube? There was no YouTube.
No pattern.
No pattern.
No YouTube. No help. All she did was, okay, Grandma, I want this sweater and I want it in this color. And she would say, okay, and she would do it. So yes, her socks.
They were big.
Yes, I think Daniel has a pair of socks that she knitted. The shape was a little off. But again, she didn't use any patterns or anything. She just went by looking, observation, and just in her head, she kind of knew what to do.
She also liked to experiment, because I remember her knitting someone a pair of sweatpants. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And it was just like, I don't think knitting and sweatpants people don't knit pants usually. It's not a very great fabric for that. But she wanted to try things and she was going to do it.
Yeah, and she would incorporate elastic on her pants, and really, I wish I would have kept a pair of her knitting pants.
So she knit more than one pair of pants?
There was one that was bright red. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
No, I feel like the ones that I'm thinking of were like a gray.
Okay, but this one, she let me wear it and it was amazing. Well, I had it and then I don't know what happened with it.
Right.
But it was so super warm. Mm-hmm. And it was really nice as a pajama item or just to wear something around the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mom, for being here today and letting me interview you for my YouTube channel. Aww. It was great having you.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We got to do this again.
Yeah, for sure. If you're a beginner knitter, or if you've ever taught someone to knit, or if you have any questions for my mom for next time, let us know in the comments below.
Or if you want to see me next time, please let us know in the comments below.
If you want to see my mom back on the YouTube channel, give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you guys want to see that. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.